Good afternoon, people. How y'all doing? It is cold out here in the state of Georgia. I don't know what's going on, but we don't do any weather that's below 20 degrees. Hell, we don't do weather that's below 40. Once it gets below 40, we wrapping up. And it is crazy how it is out here. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and talk about this particular topic that I want to talk about. Just 15% of Steam users' playtime was actually spent on games that was released in 2024. What does that tell you about the gaming landscape? And honestly, is this only dedicated to PC users? What if this is also on consoles? Now, for me, I can see that it could be also on consoles now. To get a sample size, I haven't looked at my friends list on PlayStation or Xbox, so I don't really know if it's really resonating locally or around my circle of gamers. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's also on console as well. I just did a live stream where I just got finished playing Spec Ops: The Line. I just got finished beating that game. Now that game came out in 2011. Also, on that live stream, the last live stream I did, when I was playing games, I played Gran Turismo Sport, which came out in 2018, and I was playing Killer Instinct 2, which that came out a long time ago, way back in the 90s. So it just goes to show you that myself, not playing any games that came out in 2024. I looked at some games that came out in 2024, but it's nothing really out there really interesting me. I mean, outside of maybe Stellar Blade, that was it. Myth of Wukong, and I haven't even started that yet. I still have a backlog. So really what we're looking at is gamers are pretty much playing their backlog, and some of them rather play games that came out earlier in time. Because most games nowadays, let's be honest, they're not as dynamic or fun. Jesus, they're like really taking the stuff off my truck and playing no games. Goodness. There is really not many, games that people want to play. And a lot of people are just playing their backlogs that are, and not really playing the new games. And to me, it's not really surprising once you really break it down. And actually, based on this report, which I seen this on a couple of websites, you can just look it up. It's really easy. I don't need to put a particular link in the description to find it. You just go to IGN, PC Gamer, anywhere to find this. They said this was actually up from last year to 15%. It was actually lower in 2023. So there's a real problem in the industry where these companies cannot get their games to be played by gamers. Newer games be played by gamers. Like, a lot of people look at these games, they may buy them. Yeah, honestly, they're not really buying them, but they may purchase them and they just sit. The people who are actually buying them, they're the games are just sitting. And it's also another situation where Game Pass could be a issue with this too. These games could be released and nobody's really buying the games because of, they're not really playing them because they got Game Pass, and it's like almost a level of sensory overload. You could be dealing with that as well, where you really just have so much to play, you can't keep up with it. And that's one good thing I will say about the gaming industry right now. There is tons of access to games, whether it be PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Essential, PlayStation Premium, Game Pass, even on these other clients that give you these subscription-based models. And even if you don't even want to go to subscription-based model route, a lot of people have a lot of access to games because of what they have as far as digital. A lot of digital games are so easy to obtain. At one point, I remember when, one of these back in my day, type of stories, well, we had to go get physical copies of games. And those physical copies of games had to be played because you didn't have anything else. You didn't have a lot of games at your fingertips back as early as the, let's say, early 2000s, maybe even as early as, the mid 2000s, 2010s, maybe. Because these all these digital games really did not take off until maybe like the PlayStation 4 era, you know, Xbox One era. Now there were some digital games on Xbox 360 and PS3. They were there, but they wasn't really taking off like they did now. Once the 8th generation started, it took off like crazy, and you know, it really helped with, you know, people start getting more acclimated with the PlayStation Store, the 360 store, even with the Nintendo Wii Shop. You know, they were there, but they weren't really taking off like they did after the fact. So you got a lot of access to games. People just have a lot of stuff to play. So that's one of the good things when it comes to actually having, you know, games this time, you know, in this part of the gaming, you know, ecosystem. All these ecosystems have access to games so easily. Is kind of a level of sensory overload where it's like, why am I worrying about a game from 2024 where there was like 6 or 7 games that came out in 2022, or some games that came out back in 2023 or even earlier that I never got around to, and now that game is cheap? Because also, that's another thing about digital games, you can find them really cheap on PC, and you can also find these games cheap physical. If you just go out in the wild and find some of these games at your brick and mortar stores, you walk away with an $8 game that you haven't played back in 2021. Now you have a great value in that game, and that game's going to take up your time because you always wanted to play that game. Who wants to play Star Wars Outlaws? You know what I mean? It's just you know, it just happens that way, and that's what I'm going through. I just went through my second playthrough of Spec Ops: The Line, and I'm probably going to go through a third playthrough because I just realized that I haven't beat it on PC yet. So I played it on PS3, played it on 360, and I'm going to probably run through and play the game on PC because it's a phenomenal game. And it's just how it is nowadays. You know, a lot of these people, a lot of these gamers, you know, like I said, 15% of Steam users, that's very low, that played games that was released in 2024. And it was higher than 2023. And I'm pretty sure that it's the same issue on console as well. I'm pretty sure on consoles, they probably have the same issue where not many people playing the brand new games. So these devs, these companies got to get it together, try to find a way to get these gamers onto their new games. But at the same time, you still got all these other games out there that people want to play. All these other games out there people want to play. But I'm going to get up out of here. I think they just finished unloading my truck. I'm going to get up out of here. I need to fix my window. I know somebody probably said something about my window. I mean, that's nothing but, you know, just, I don't know what that is. It's on the outside. It's not is it over here? I don't know what that is, but I'm going to have to fix it, clean it up. Got to clean up the truck, and I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all take it easy. I'm out. Peace.